In the intricate narrative of biblical accounts, the story of Adam and Eve's descendants is often initially framed by the well-known narrative of Cain and Abel. However, deep inside the holy books is a mystery that has received less attention: the daughters of Adam and Eve. The daughters of this famous couple are often overlooked, even in the face of religious debates and biblical interpretations. The sons, who are more well-known, like Cain and Abel, usually get the most attention. Genesis chapter 5 verses 4 and 5, however, suggest a more extensive family history. Adam lived for 800 years after Seth was born, fathering sons and daughters and living for a total of 93 years. But the names and identities of these daughters are left unsaid in the Bible. Don't forget to subscribe to Ancient History for fascinating insights into the mysteries of the ancient world and captivating historical narratives. You can now have an early access to videos and join a community passionate about unraveling the secrets of our past by becoming our member. Ancient Jewish traditions unveil this buried chapter, providing certain names and details that give an interesting twist to the little-known story of the daughters of humanity's primordial forebears. For those who are not aware, the Book of Jubilees is sometimes referred to as the Little Genesis because of its association with the joyous term Jubilee. It covers the stories of several Old Testament figures, mostly from the Book of Genesis, and describes the creation of the universe and the formation of Adam and Eve after the fall. It is a component of the Old Testament Apocrypha. The earliest manuscript we have access to is not particularly recent. It's from about 700 BCE. Still, this paper is a replication of an even earlier piece. Some academics propose that the author of the Book of Jubilees may have been the scribe Ezra, by connecting it to the Book of Chronicles. But according to the Book of Jubilees, Moses wrote the book after receiving a revelation from an angel while atop Mount Horeb. It is interesting to remember that Moses was in God's presence for 40 days and 40 nights on Mount Horeb while he went without food or water. Historically, we cannot rule out the idea that Moses was the true author of the Torah because of its antiquity. Many copies of the Book of Jubilees are widely dispersed among Israelites, giving it a prominent place in Israeli culture. It also makes reference to the Book of Enoch, another enigmatic apocryphal work that was well known to early Christians and even included in their canon of scripture. This emphasizes how crucial it is to read the Book of Jubilees carefully, since it describes occurrences that correspond with biblical narrative. Now going back to Adam and Eve, Avan was the name of their first daughter, according to a number of early Semitic Abrahamic legends. In Phoenician Hebrew, the word Avan means potency, or simply vice. As a result, she was Cain's sister and wife. Cain was the son of Adam and Eve. Enoch was the name of one of the children she bore Cain, according to the Book of Jubilees. One of Cain's accomplishments after being banished because he killed Abel is stated in the Bible as being the building of a city named after his son. Named after his son, the city was given the name Enoch. The Book of Jubilees and other Abrahamic writings make reference to a man named Avan. She goes by Kelima, though, in some of these books, like the Cave of Treasures. According to these legends, Kelima was therefore Adam and Eve's first daughter and Cain's bride. Azura was Adam and Eve's second daughter, according to a number of Old Semitic customs. Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve, born following Abel's death, was married to Azura. Hebrew is the name Seth's place of origin, and the idea of replacement or compensation may be implied by its meaning. This is significant because, following Abel's death by his brother Cain, Adam and Eve looked to Seth to replace Abel's heavenly reward. He is regarded as a holy and righteous descendant, and the biblical story implies that humanity continued to serve God via his bloodline. Seth's lineage is also noteworthy in the Bible because it leads to Noah, who was essential to both the account of the flood and humanity's survival. In the genealogical chain connecting the genesis of humanity to later events and significant personalities in the Judeo-Christian faith, Seth and his wife Azura were therefore a link. An intriguing element found in the Book of Jubilees is that Azura was Abel's first wife and only became a widow after his passing. Seth married Azura after he reached adulthood, and their union produced the lineage of Seth, as well as Seth himself, who became the first patriarch of this dynasty. According to the Book of Jubilees, Azura married her brother Seth in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee after being born in the 6th week of the 4th Jubilee. She gave birth to a son, Enos, in the 6th week of the 4th year. After growing up, Enos wed Nome, his sister and the daughter of Seth and Azura, during the 3rd week of the 7th Jubilee. One of Seth and Azura's sons, Enos is renowned for his pious lineage and unwavering commitment to worshiping God. The Bible's primary reference to Enos is found in Genesis 5, verses 6 through 7, which provide the following genealogy description. Seth had Enos after living for 105 years. Seth lived for 807 years after fathering Enos and produced sons and daughters. Seth lived for 912 years in total before passing away. 90 years later, Enos gave birth to Canaan. Enos lived for 815 years and had sons and daughters after he fathered Canaan. Canaan lived for 905 years in total before passing away. The primary attribute ascribed to Enos is his praying habit and his utterance of God's name. Genesis 4 verse 26 says, "At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord." According to this scripture, Enos was instrumental in encouraging worship and devotion to God during the time he lived, which coincided with a period of spiritual and religious exploration among the descendants of Seth. So, Cain married his sister Avan and started the Cain family, according to Semitic Jewish tradition and the Old Book of Jubilees. On the other side, Seth created the Seth lineage by marrying his sister Azura. The number of boys and daughters that Adam and Eve had may have been on your mind. The biblical story suggests that they had a large number of sons and girls, which makes sense given that Adam lived for more than 8 centuries. Adam and Eve were, in actuality, the most fertile people in history. As the first woman, Eve was extraordinarily fruitful, and Adam was similarly prolific. Consequently, during their lives, they had hundreds and hundreds of sons and daughters in accordance with these antiquated customs. Valentina Vassiliev was the lady who, as far as we know, held the record for having the most children in human history, according to the Guinness World Records. According to reports, she was 76 years old when she passed away, leaving 69 surviving children, just 2 of whom died young. Valentina Vassiliev had 27 pregnancies in total, giving birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets, according to Guinness World Records. Although there are numerous accounts of ladies having as many as 50 or even 60 children, Valentina Vassiliev is still the acknowledged record holder. The Book of Genesis states in chapter 6 verse 1 that when Adam's offspring proliferated on earth, many lovely daughters were born. Because Adam and Eve were initially of mixed race, it is a lesser-known curiosity that both the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve had their own ethnic ancestry. As a result, humanity's ethnic diversity increased. Although it includes a wide range of ethnicities and races, all people may trace their ancestry back to Adam and Eve. This theory is supported by research on mitochondrial DNA, or mitochondrial Eve, which shows that despite the racial and ethnic variety of the modern world, all humans have a common ancestor. Thus, the mitochondrial genetic investigation demonstrated that all individuals share a common ancestor and are descended from the same woman, adding to the richness of racial and ethnic variation in our world. That's all for this video. We'll be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. To keep exploring ancient history together, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time!